What if I told you that Transformers G1 didn't end here? In fact, it ended here. But what is here? That's exactly what we're going to go over today, because welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to be going over the Transformers G1 continuity once again, but not the American version. No. In fact, we are going to be talking about the Transformers G1 sequels that never aired in the West. These are Japanese exclusive shows, and yeah, while a lot of people have gotten more access to them over the years, and we've gotten obviously a bunch of new toys in regards to these characters, I think it's time we go over this timeline as a whole. Really quick, if you want to stay up to date with film and TV news, my boys and I have a live podcast every single week called The Usual Rejects, where we talk about just that. So go over there, subscribe, chat with us every week. Now, back to the video. First things first, what is this? Well, many eons ago, Takara released their highly anticipated Diaclone and Microchangers line of toy robots which turned into assorted vehicles, weapons, and accessories. Sadly, the line failed in Japan though. But not all hope was lost, as one American company saw potential in the line. That's right, after Hasbro bought the line, they repainted them, gave them new backstories, and greenlit a show which would forever be known as Okay, so what's this show about? Well, this is the original series that introduced the infamous war between the Autobots and the Decepticons. Sentient robots from Cybertron which crash on Earth and disguise themselves as vehicles and other assorted machinery. Over time, the series expanded into deeper lore, introducing things and concepts like the Quintessons, Unicron, and of course Cybertron's ancient history. Now, while seasons 1 to 2 focus on Earthbound stories, Season 3 dealt with a post-movie fallout in space. Now, this is a story as old as time. Obviously, you know that Season 1 and 2 came out, and then the movie came out, and then Season 3. And we're going to talk about the movie in just a second, but what are the pros of this original series? Obviously, it created some of the most iconic characters we have ever seen in media. It gave us our Space Jesus, that's right, Optimus Prime, and it gave us a shit ton of other infamous characters that we would love, we love nowadays and have come to know, like Megatron, Starscream, Soundwave, Bumblebee. It was really groundbreaking for the time. This is a concept that was very new, very fresh, very interesting, and it was rich with that classic 80s mecha nostalgia. In terms of cons though, the show was very episodic. Obviously it lacked a lot of cohesion, and like many old cartoons, the animation was not always the best. We had a lot of inconsistencies, and the season 4-ish thing that did come out wasn't really a season. It was just 3 episodes until the show got canned. Fun fact though, this show actually wasn't originally known as G1. G1 was a concept that we as fans developed later on after G2 came out, which we're going to briefly touch upon, and G1 is just the classification to identify it as the original series. But now let's get into that movie that we were talking about. So, this movie, set between seasons 2 and 3, features the death of Optimus Prime, a trend that we would see many times, way too much, and the rise of Rodimus Prime, who we really don't see all that often. It's pretty sad. And of course, introduced the infamous character of Unicron. It was definitely a much darker, more cinematic turn for the franchise, and introduced new major characters like Galvatron and Ultra Magnus. Now, if you want an even deeper overview of this film, I actually made a video about it, which you can watch right here. But this bold storytelling was very cool. It was very different, and it's nowadays become a cult classic film that a lot of fans resonate with. And that was it for a time being in America, of course. Because if you lived in the West, you didn't get new Transformers media for a while. Unless you count G2, which is actually not even an entire show. Basically, they reran G1 with the new title G2, where they added 3D animated bumpers in between episodes, and this very funky looking Megatron, and a lot of characters were recolored, and they re-released the toys in these funky colors. It was mostly just a marketing plot. But if you did live in the East, the original continuity was still going on, with that of A direct sequel to the Japanese dub of Season 3, obviously ignoring Season 4, focused on the Headmasters, smaller robots who transformed into heads for larger bodies. Set primarily on Cybertron and a couple other planets with heavy anime influence. It created what would be known as the G1 Japanese continuity. Basically, they established their own lore, their world was a little different, they gave rich backstories for these Headmasters. In terms of cons though, it was an overly serious and dramatic tone in comparison to the American version, which people really became accustomed to. The voice acting didn't always translate the best, or characters didn't really match up with their voices. So, the experience was definitely different for sure. But with that being said though, Transformers is Transformers. New toys meant new shows. That's basically the name of the game here. And so this show got its own sequel by the name of one hell of a title, isn't it? Well, this show now heavily focuses on humans known as Godmasters. They're basically people who can transform into robots using sets of armor, and because of this, the line between human and Transformers was blurred a lot of the time in the show. And this show is primarily set on Earth with a lot of higher mysticism. While previous shows focused a lot on science and technology, we've got elements of magic and mysticism. And because of this show notably features a character by the name of Jinrai, who is an Optimus Prime-like figure who isn't Optimus Prime but looks a lot like him. It's a little bit confusing, and trust me, this is not the last time we're going to see an Optimus Prime clone. Obviously, in terms of pros though, the original approach to this human-robot dichotomy was very interesting, and it was very anime influenced, very anime inspired, and because of that, it gave it a very stylish storytelling. If you did, unfortunately, live in the West, you were very confused as to what was going on, who was Jinrai, and of course it had very minimal ties to the early Transformer shows. And so because of this, they decided to take these characters into a whole new route, and we got what was known as, instead of an Optimus Prime copycat, we got Star Saber, the new Autobot leader. And in this story, the Autobots face the Breast Force. Yeah, I know, it's very unfortunate. And Decepticon Emperor of Destruction, Deathsaurus. This show features a heroic, clean-cut anime style with very large-scale mech battles. We're taking the anime approach and very stylized approach to this franchise a lot further, a lot crazier. We got big-ass swords, we got fucking super robot-style transformations. It's crazy. And because of this, it feels very strong with that classic late 1980s, early 90s anime-style animation. Also because of this, it feels very disconnected to the original series. The lore is incredibly different. It really doesn't reference a whole lot of what was the beginning of Transformers. And because of Transformers technically being canceled in America, and because of that, not many people saw the show. There was not a lot of exposure outside of Japan, which is very unfortunate. Though nowadays we have been exposed to these characters, these concepts. But if you thought that was the end of the Japanese continuity, we're not done yet, because we have one more left to go. Transformers Zone, OVA 1980. This new one-episode OVA was meant to set up a series, but kind of failed. It introduced the Powered Masters and the Violin Guiguar. And of course, it served as a spiritual bridge into the Micromaster storyline. Pros though, this was a rare instance of what could have been the future of the G1 Japanese continuity. It sucks that we never really finished it. It never got a proper ending. And that's also the biggest con of it, is that it's only one episode, it's an incomplete story, so we never got to see the potential of what this show could have been. Now set in the even further future of this Japanese G1 continuity, Leo Convoy, another Optimus copycat, he's not Optimus, but it's very weird and annoying, whatever, leads the Maximals against Galvatron's Predacons. No, not our Galvatron, this Galvatron. Like I said, it's confusing, and it combines animal and Vehicle Transformers, which are much more lighter, more comedic anime tone, even more than before. We got new characters and new styles. This Optimus Prime Lion combo was really sick and is very unique to Japanese audiences. It wasn't officially localized, sadly. I would have loved to have gotten this in America, and because of that, the impact globally was not all there. And then of course later on we would get and this time we follow Big Convoy. It's another Optimus clone, but he's an elephant, a mastodon. A lone wolf teacher commanding a group of rookie Maximos. They battle Unicron servants to protect a mysterious energy called Anglemois. Now, this is a more cosmic and spiritual show in comparison to its previous predecessors. In terms of pros though, it does expand the Beast Wars mythology in this Japanese line, right? With very flashy anime influence as we've come to establish with this continuity. And same thing with cons, it was not well known outside of Japan. All in all, that was a look into the wild and weird world that is the Transformers G1 Japanese continuity. It's honestly crazy to see how much the story continued outside of the West. New leaders, deeper lore, and some of the most unhinged plots in the entire franchise. But what do you think? Should this side of Transformers get more love, especially here in the West? Maybe a reboot or a remaster of some of these shows? Or was Hasbro right to pretend like it never happened for such a long time? Drop your thoughts down in the comment below, especially if you have sat through all of these shows or any of these shows. I just want to hear what you guys think. And as per usual, thank you, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch me talk about not Optimus Prime again, and again. Until next time, see you, Space Cowboys.